Music in the Mountains students pop up at the Farmers Market on July 19th. See how one chef turned a lion's mane into a winning recipe during the Iron Horse Chef Competition semifinals. And learn about a community effort to curtail pot smoking amongst teenagers on this edition of Inside Durango News.
You're watching Inside Durango News, your source for information about Southwest Colorado. Powered by Fast Signs. More than fast, more than signs.
I'm Ashley Dickson. Thanks to a $245,000 grant from the Colorado Department of Transportation, regional bus service once again is available from Durango. The Ignacio-based Roadrunner stage line started a daily round-trip route from Durango to Grand Junction with stops in regional communities on July 15th. The first trip had one passenger. The route leaves Durango Transit Center at 7 a.m. daily, travels west to Mancos and Cortez, then north to Dolores, Rico, Telluride, Placerville, Ridgeway, then Montrose, and arrives in Grand Junction at 12:45 p.m. It leaves Grand Junction at 1:30 p.m. and arrives in Durango at 7:44 p.m. The Southern Ute Community Action Program, alongside state and federal transportation authorities, runs the service. Although the first trip carried only one passenger, Peter Trigillis, program developer at SUCAP, said he's confident ridership will grow.
2011, September, Greyhound shut down a route that went from Salt Lake City to Albuquerque, which included this segment in Colorado, Grand Junction to Durango. And it's a pretty big deal because lots of people use it, students, people going to the VA hospital, to the federal courts, and the state of Colorado wants to see a ground transportation alternative. SUCAP operates Roadrunner Transit. You might see the green and white buses going around. And we sat down and thought we'd give a shot at it. So we have been working with Colorado Department of Transportation, CDOT, for the last couple of years, putting this together. This is all federal money that we're using here. That's how things get done with transportation and public transportation. We're funded by fares, and the difference is essentially made up with federal subsidy. In some ways just like the airlines, sometimes just like the roads.
The Southern Ute Community Action Program purchased two 50-seat buses with an initial grant of $176,000. The buses will run 7 days a week, including holidays. A one-way fare to Grand Junction is $40. Trigillis said the revived bus route to Grand Junction will serve many Southwest Colorado residents who are priced out of flying or have no access to alternative transportation.
Well, if you live, say, near Nuclear or Natarita and you need to get to the airport in Montrose or Grand Junction, now is the way to do it where you don't have to drive all the way. You could, drop into Ridgeway or Montrose and pick it up. If you don't have a lot of money and you can't afford to spend $350 or $550 for a round trip flying back and forth to Denver, this is an alternative. It takes longer, but we connect with the entire Greyhound system. That's what this is. We are what's called interline with Greyhound. So you can go up to Grand Junction and connect with the bus to Denver or the bus west to Las Vegas, Los Angeles, or Salt Lake City.
Tickets and route information are available at the Durango Transit Center or log on to sucap.org. If you own an unregistered accessory dwelling unit on your property, you may want to take advantage of an amnesty period to register your ADU to avoid being big fines. The City of Durango will offer a voluntary application and registration period beginning August 1st through December 31st, 2014. If you register your apartment during the amnesty period, you can avoid court costs, and you can take advantage of a city payment plan to pay any fees. Earlier this year, the Durango City Council approved new regulations for accessory dwelling units or mother-in-law apartments in the new Land Use Code. Now the city requires property owners to register units that were built without an approved permit, and it won't be cheap. News producer Debbie Rhoda has more.
Thanks, Ashley. Owners of accessory dwelling units like this one may see a big bill coming their way when they register the apartment and bring them into compliance with the new city regulations. And the more recent the unit, the more money they'll have to pay. Depending upon the age of the illegal apartment, owners will be required to pay for a limited use permit, impact fees, park and school fees, and street, water, and sewer fees. All ADU owners will have to address basic life and safety violations or they'll be forced to vacate the residence. Units built before 1941 in existing neighborhoods will have to pay just an application fee of about $550. But property owners who built an ADU after 1989 without the appropriate permits could be on the hook for up to $11,000. Property owners who built an ADU outside approved zones will have to 3 months will have 3 months to remove them. Back to you, Ashley.
Anyone who voluntarily complies with new regulations by December 31st will not face any legal action. But after that, owners of illegal ADUs could face fines of up to $1,000 a day. For more information about ADUs, visit the City of Durango's website at durangogov.org. The San Juan Skyway celebrates its 25th anniversary this year, and residents and communities along the scenic byway are encouraged to attend one of 2 meetings in July and August to help determine its future. The meetings are organized by the Montezuma Land Conservancy and made possible by a grant from the National Scenic Byways Program. Meetings will be held in Mancos on July 31st and Ridgeway on August 14th.
This is the 25th anniversary of the San Juan Skyway. I think everybody out there in your listening audience knows where it is, but it's the green line. We're of course here in Durango. Goes to Silverton, Ouray, Ridgeway, Placerville, Telluride, swinging down through Dolores and Cortez, Mancos, and back to Durango. This is the first byway in Colorado, and we're celebrating the 25th anniversary, and it's a really good time to take stock of the byway and how we can all work together to make sure it stays pretty and the amenities are on it that the traveling public needs, and that we retain the values about the byway that we all love so much.
In 1989, the San Juan Skyway became the first designated scenic and historic byway for Colorado. In 1996, it received the inaugural title of an All-American Road, the highest level of designation from the federal government. It's one of 3 All-American roads in Colorado. The meeting agenda will include an overview of the current San Juan Skyway Corridor Management Plan, a review of accomplishments to date, and a discussion of current challenges and opportunities. Discussions will also include ideas about outreach and conservation.
There's a couple issues with the byway that people need to bear in mind. One is interpretation. So some years back, if they drive the byway, they can find a lot of signs, a lot of things that help them understand the history. So is there more of that needs to be done? An important thing are the scenic values. And so are there parcels of land that could be put in a conservation easement, for example, of course voluntary? Are there things counties can do to bolster the things that are happening around the byway? And then of course there's the very simple things like pullouts and restrooms, which are important to all of us. So looking at the byway kind of as a total unit, and then saying what can we actually get done.
Any ideas that may develop into goals at the meetings will be added to the management plan. The current plan was completed by the Friends of the San Juan Skyway Group, which was established the original vision and management goals. The group is no longer active. Both meetings start at 6 p.m. The Mancos meeting will be held at the Mancos Grange at 680 Grand Avenue. The Ridgeway meeting will also be at 6 p.m. in the Ridgeway Town Hall at 201 North Railroad Street. For more information about the public meetings, visit montezumaland.org. What's a pop-up concert? Find out after the break.
One of the things that we promise every guest at Durango Motor Company is one low price, plain and simple, always.
They can just come in, select the vehicle that they want, and already know the price up front.
Our salespeople here at Durango Motor Company are not paid on commission. Our guys and gals are actually paid on guest satisfaction.
So it doesn't matter if you're purchasing a car that's $4,000 or $70,000, their main interest is finding the car that's right for you.
105.
Yeehaw! Cowboy! Experience the heritage of the Old West. It's the new and exciting True West Rodeo in Durango. Every other Wednesday throughout the summer at La Plata County Fairgrounds. Cheer real cowboys and cowgirls as they test their mettle with bronc busting, bull riding, barrel racing, and more. Authentic Western halftime shows, Native American dancers, Wild West gunfights, and special performances honoring military and emergency response personnel. Visit TrueWestRodeo.com for ticket and schedule information.
You're watching Inside Durango News. I'm Ashley Dickson. We know Durango is a theater town. Between the theatrical programs at Durango High School and Fort Lewis College to the summer productions at the Durango Art Center and the melodrama at the Henry Strader Theater, you'll find plenty of productions on stage. Now, thanks to the talents of 8 Durango High School thespians, Durango Theater has earned the spotlight of international recognition. Durango High School juniors Emma Buchanan, Kevin Brinkley, Evett Salinger, Hugh Parsons, Rachel Rodri, Sarah Barney, Caitlin Craig, and Ellis Christensen recently attended the Educational Theater Association's International Thespian Festival held in Lincoln, Nebraska. And the students returned with top honors from their performances. One student in particular, Emma Buchanan, placed in the top 4 spots for her musical theater performance of Even Though I Love You. That's the top 4 out of 600 students nationwide and 3 international countries. Emma, who started her theatrical career as an elementary school student in the Durango Arts Center theater program, credits the help she received from theater teacher Kristen Wincherson.
I had really brilliant direction, and I had the song for a year before I actually I went to competition, and so I'd worked on it at a camp, I worked on it for states, and then we worked it again, and so every time you just kind of learn something new about the song. And I think one thing that Winchester teaches us so well is to just be honest, and so when you really connect to the lyrics and you really think about what you're doing and really put that into what you're doing, then it's just, I think that's why it did so well, and I think that's why we all did so well, because we really thought about the pieces that we were going to take and make sure that they connected to us personally and to the way that we like to perform. So,
in addition to Emma's success, the technician team placed 7th in the competition overall, and Kevin Brinkley won a scholarship to attend any collegiate theater program in the country that he chooses. Students also auditioned for acceptance into college theater programs nationwide. 60 colleges were on hand to vet the talented students. The competition attracted 600 students who first had to qualify through top performances at state competitions, said Winchester. The caliber of competition was extraordinary, and Durango students definitely earned the applause of their peers.
It's a great honor because we excelled in 3 areas, and now Durango High School in general is just being, and Durango the town is being recognized, which is great at the international level. And so Durango's always been known for their theater, but I think now they're really getting, the word is definitely out about the theater in Durango. And as I was wandering the conference, and people would see my shirt that said DHS Troop 1096 and it would say Durango on it, I kept getting this feedback about how we're the buzz and everyone keeps talking about Durango, and it was pretty crazy because I know our kids are talented, but it was nice to see that recognized first at the state level and now to be recognized at the international level.
Congratulations to the talented students of the Durango High School Theater Program. Music in the Mountains is more than a series of concerts. It also offers a conservatory, an intense 2-week school for talented young people who have dreams of performing as professional musicians. The conservatory started in 1997 under the leadership of Arkady Fauman, a Dallas Symphony Orchestra violinist and founder of the New Conservatory of Dallas. Fauman brought Dallas faculty to Durango to work with music students from throughout the United States. The conservatory grew to more than 100 students last summer. Then, sadly, tragedy struck. Fauman died of cancer last May, and the conservatory's future was in jeopardy until the Music in the Mountains Board of Directors decided to take the program under its wing and rebuild the program. The board hired Matt Albert as its new director. Albert, an award-winning musician who plays violin and viola, teaches at the Meadow School of Arts at Southwestern Methodist University in Dallas. He's director of chamber music and Syzygy, the Meadow's new music ensemble. He's a founding member of 8th Blackbird, a contemporary music ensemble whose work has been recognized with 3 Grammy Awards. His first year as Music in the Mountains Conservatory Director has been a challenge, Albert says. Only 15 students enrolled because of a late start with marketing. Nevertheless, Albert is optimistic about the future and intends to build a program that will help young musicians prepare for lives as professional players.
I mean, the tradition that Arkady set up here for the past 17 years was amazing. He had this amazing program of almost 100 students last year, and he helped, form a generation of students here in Durango and from around the country and the world. We have not tried to do the same thing. We didn't think we could do that same thing that he had done, and so we're doing something different. We have a smaller program, a different faculty, and what we're concentrating on are ways that as colleagues we can help one another and build this program using chamber music and orchestra and solo playing to all improve and learn from one another.
With 7 instructors at their disposal, conservatory students received intense daily instruction at Fort Lewis College. They attend lectures, rehearse, work on techniques, and perform several chamber music programs.
So the way that I've structured the day one day is kind of my idea of almost all of the things that are important in a career. I've tried to cram a microcosm into one day here. You start out in the morning with the opportunity to warm up on your own, because every musician, we're physical beings, we're using our bodies, we can't just run to rehearsal and start. The second thing that I'm emphasizing that starts in the morning, in the first week, we're working on Alexander Technique. Alexander Technique is a body awareness thing that helps musicians maximize their sound production, not letting anything get in the way of making the most sound, the most beautiful phrase they can. That's Alexander Technique. The other thing we're doing in the morning, starting the second week, is public speaking, because it's so important. It's so important for us to know how to relate to the audience, how to describe what we're about to play and why it's important to us. So we're talking about that. After these kind of warm-ups and then broader perspectives that we start in the morning, we jump into orchestra rehearsals. We have lunch, chamber music rehearsals, some of which are side by side with faculty. Then there's lessons and time to practice, and then the evenings are taken up with going to performances and seeing other people do it. It's a lot every day. I've got a lot going on, but I'm pretty excited by it.
As the conservatory grows and matures with the second generation of leadership, Albert hopes to expand instruction to include career development, interpersonal skills, teaching skills, and public speaking skills to become an engaging performer.
And I would like to have even more, like you just mentioned, professional development, the idea of where is my career going? What do I want for myself 1 year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now? That's something that I hope that our faculty are modeling for the students, because I have a really wide variety of faculty who are actually at really interesting and different points in their careers. And so these students can look up to people who are only a few years older than them and say, oh, they made these steps and they got there. I think that's a really valuable thing for the students as well.
Conservatory students have fun too. At the July 19th Farmers Market, students and faculty delighted shoppers with a pop-up concert. They popped out of the crowd, began playing a clap song, then pulled out their instruments for an impromptu concert. Call it a musical flash mob. Here's a taste of the pop-up concert. We'll be back after the break with the Iron Horse Chef Competition.
Rhythm? Rhythm in the streets?
The Durango Holiday Inn would like to invite you to the Sporting News Grill for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Featuring a full-service restaurant and bar with 11 HD TVs, it's a great venue for family and sports fanatics alike. The Sporting News Grill. Stop in and let us show you our game face.
It's full steam ahead at the Durango and Silverton Narrow Gauge Railroad. Enjoy a historic trip through southwest Colorado's rich scenery with daily train excursions through the spectacular San Juan Mountains. See the world-famous 400-foot drop at the High Line. Relax as you chug along the Upper Animas River and spend an afternoon in the historic mining town of Silverton. Stop by the depot or call 247-2733. Get more information on our website at durangotrain.com.
Immerse yourself in the beauty of the San Juans and the performance of music in the mountains. An amazing festival of classical concerts, chamber music, pops night, youth performances, world music, and free family events. More than 24 concerts scheduled throughout the festival season, July 13th through August 3rd at Durango Mountain Resort, the Community Concert Hall at Fort Lewis College, and other venues in Durango. Select concerts sell out early. Get your tickets now at the festival office in downtown Durango or online at musicinthemountains.com.
You're watching Inside Durango News. I'm Ashley Dickson. Can you make a meal out of Rocky Mountain oysters and ingredients from the farmers market in under an hour? That was the challenge facing Orr House chef Cliff Bornheim and Carver chef Dave Kuntz at the semifinals for the Iron Horse Chef Competition. See who won, then stay tuned to learn about a community effort to combat pot smoking amongst underage users.
So today at the Durango Farmers Market, we're having the 7th annual Iron Horse Chef Cooking Competition. This is something we do twice a year. This is the semi-final event. We do it 2 Saturdays every year, so this is the 7th year we've done it, but twice a year. Today we have Dave Kuntz from Carver's Restaurant, or Carver's Brewing Company, and then we have Cliff Bornheim from the Ore House. And they go on, whoever wins that will face last year's champion, who's Sean Clark from El Moro Spirits and Tavern. So these 2 chefs are going to compete against each other. They have an hour to do this. They shop at the farmer's market. They kind of get almost all of their ingredients here, and then they cook here. And then our 4 judges on the panel will judge, and then they decide, based on a couple different criteria, who goes on to win, and who wins, and then who goes on to face the champion in 2 weeks on August the 2nd. So it's kind of threefold, and what we've done is we always try to support the farmers market. Us with CSU Extension and growing partners of Southwest Colorado, we love to support the Durango Farmers Market, and in turn we also support our local agriculture. And the third is just to maybe teach people how to use some of the local products that we have here at the farmers market. Not everybody knows how to use parsnips or rutabagas or even the simple things like spinach and even the tomatoes. So what they can do is they can come watch this event, see how the chefs prepare it, and then take that same information and go home and do the same thing in their own kitchen.
And so for our total scores, Dave scored 64.75 points. Great job, Dave. And Cliff scored 68.25.
Ore House chef Cliff Bornheim is going to compete against defending champion Sean Clark. He's the head chef at El Moro Spirits and Tavern during the finals on August 2nd at the Farmers Market. Transitioning today, we've got Steve Britton. He's the executive director of La Plata Youth Services to talk about one of the unintended consequences of legalizing pot and how the community is trying to combat it. So thank you for joining us today.
Thank you very much.
So it has been all over both our state and local news, this issue of retail marijuana. And one of the things that I think a lot of people aren't talking about is how this is affecting the teenagers in our community.
Well, it's having a pretty profound effect on the teenagers in our community. It's not legal for teenagers to smoke marijuana, and many of them think it is. Again, this isn't your grandma's marijuana. It's much stronger. The THC levels are through the roof, and there's all kinds of children ingesting edibles that you see in the paper, and children, the edibles are the bigger issue, but there are a lot of effects on the developing brain that are largely unknown in our community, and we're, the marijuana subcommittee of the CJCC is sponsoring an all-day workshop, kind of an information gathering workshop with Dr. Christian Thurston. He's one of 3 dozen board-certified psychiatrists who specializes in adolescent child and addiction psychiatry, and he's going to be here August 8th all day to talk about the effects of marijuana on the developing adolescent brain.
Interesting. Now, is this forum open to parents and kids, to anyone in the community that has interest?
Well, this one is largely, our target audience has been the public service agencies, the schools, law enforcement, mental health, school counselors, folks in those lines of work, to sort of make sure that we're all on the same page and that we all have the same information to give to the community and to children in the community about the effects of marijuana on the developing brain. And it's the first of a few we're hoping to do. It's been pretty well planned, and I think we had room for 150 people, and we have 138 attendees.
Oh wow, that's great already. And I know there's been so much research as of late of what the effects are on the child's brain, and it sounds like there's a lot of studies coming forward that shows it has some pretty severe repercussions.
Well, it does, and we don't want to get into a scared straight kind of scenario. as happened in the 60s, but some of the effects are still largely unknown because it's still happening. But it impairs short-term memory, it impairs the child's ability to complete complex tasks, it can lower IQ, creates a lot of tar on the lungs, and those are just a few, and Dr. Thurstone is going to really enlighten us. There's also a huge panel in the afternoon with children represented on the panel and parents represented on the panel. And so we're hoping to really learn a lot and develop a comprehensive approach in our community that's our communities and not what's happening anywhere else.
Yeah. And it seems like this would be the first step to really create the dialogue, which, I mean, Absolutely. We're talking about it in business senses and obviously the stories in the Durango Herald about where these shops are going to be located, but this will kind of spur a different dialogue, it seems.
Mm-hmm. I hope so. We actually have one of the vendors as a member of our committee who's been great. He's been very enlightening about how to store it and keep it safe and away from children. So we're hoping to open up a lot of dialogue and a community response.
That's great. So for people that are interested in getting more information about this, and I know you said that you might be doing some more things about this in the future, who is a good person to call for this?
Well, there's very limited space right now, but if there are any people that are interested, if they'd call Sarah Jacobson at the county, she can sort of guide them through the registration process.
Awesome. And it seems like this is the great time to start this dialogue, so I think hopefully you guys will have a great turnout and people will probably learn a lot that they weren't expecting as well.
Thank you very much.
Awesome. Well, it's great to have you. That's going to do it for this week's edition of Inside Durango News. For community updates and a calendar of events, you can check out what's happening Durango.com. Post your free event today and join the one-stop, easy-to-use events calendar for Durango. I'm Ashley Dickson. Thanks for tuning in to Inside Durango News, and remember to keep watching. You'll like what you see.
Tune in weekly to watch Inside Durango News, your source for what's going on in Southwest Colorado. Powered by Fast Signs. More than fast, more than signs. You can watch Inside Durango News anytime at DurangoTV.com.